Right, all right. Welcome to another episode of No Cap Gaming. It is episode 14, and it's my favorite. It's Crash Out Thursday. And who have we got crashing out today on the panel? Have we got everyone up? We've got Aero, we've got Grim, we've got Chonky, and we've got Jay. I can just see on that. And yeah, I want to start everyone with how are you doing? And what have you crashed out about this week? What is the thing that's really upsetting you in the world today? We've got some requests coming in now, some more speakers joining the
Yeah,
panel.
let's start with Chunky. What are you crashing out, my
Yeah.
friend?
Dude, I'm crashing out in good ways, I guess. I don't know. It was nice to see Bitcoin not stay under 100K for very long. Also, there are a couple of games that have resurfaced. One in particular that I have kept a close eye on because I'm in the top 50 global leaderboards from months and months and months ago. And maybe I'm going to get an airdrop. So I guess things are looking up a little bit for me, right?
Okay, now you gotta give
And
us a
which game?
spoiler.
Which game? You gotta
Exactly.
tell us.
Yeah, I guess the backwoods showed back up. Yeah, I mean, I kind of surprised me a little bit. I guess we hadn't seen anything from them in quite a while, and they showed back up and started talking about the Leaf airdrop, and they released some new updates and checked my leaderboard status, and I can't believe I'm still top 50. So, yeah, it's good news for me.
We need to loot everything, so
That is hella good news. That is hella good news. So you're crashing out in a happy way.
Crashing out in a happy way. Yeah,
And it's all good.
I hope it's in a happy way.
Let's see. Let's see when they actually do the airdrop, if they manage to make it to the airdrop. Something else to crash out about. Jay, what are you crashing out about?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh my God,
I got to
you're
mute
adorable.
myself actually in the live stream, I guess.
Yeah, mute yourself in the live stream, and then we get your sound.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
Yep,
Perfectly.
awesome. Yeah, no, I'm things are going well. Happy to see the other side news, of course, today, which is great. I was just in the spaces before talking to Garga and stuff and seeing what they're planning for, come July and August and things. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. Not crashing out about too much stuff, like really enjoying kind of what's going on. Happy to see in a sense that some people aren't as bullish as much, or these times have kind of challenged people's bullishness on certain things like Web3 gaming, tokenized communities, the power that unlocks and all that. I'm sure we're going to talk about that, but yeah, no, it's great. So I mean, it's just we've been growing a lot, and lots of cool stuff happening. So thanks for having me, guys.
And thanks for coming up here. We've got some good news in general, like for crypto. It was literally announced like seconds ago by I think WatchGuru and a few others picked it up that America has said crypto is digital gold and we should own as much Bitcoin as possible. And that's good. Couldn't be more bullish on that. I do wonder if all of these wars are essentially, the various members of the establishment trying to get buy-in prices. So that could be kind of funny. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, so that's also good. And we have apparently there's some sort of DEX happening on X. Does anyone know about this one?
I've heard rumors, and I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. Right now, I'm pretty salty with X. I'm not gonna go into too much details, but
You got to crash out on that one.
yeah, heavy man, heavy. X support non-existent. 1 month and a half waiting to get my X account back after suspension. So I'm still pretty salty about X and the way
And you
they
weren't
operate.
even a naughty boy. You weren't even
No,
very
man.
naughty.
I was not a naughty boy. I'm never a naughty boy, especially on
They just
social.
banned everyone with that BFE, didn't they?
Yeah, man. Everything with that affiliation and it's so
brutal.
sad. Yeah.
He's not the Messiah. He's just a very naughty boy.
But we did have some major crash outs. The first one of Trump actually dropping the F bomb live on TV, and we got some great remixes of that as
Oh
well.
yeah, you want me to play it now? You want to?
Oh no, we're going to save that for later. We're going to save that for when we get the crash out of the week, I think.
Well, talking about crash out, I think you crash off the stream. So
No,
I'm
no, I
waiting
was
for you to come back. There you go.
I was just getting some juice
Oh, okay,
because
okay,
I have
okay.
been in meetings a lot all day.
Okay, I was thinking that Orphid took your place because it's got SPF behind
I
you.
know, and I got possessed by the ghost of Christmas past briefly, but now I'm back in his house. We also have up on the space, we have Mr. Console, Creon, Soulbound, Shaolin. Come on, guys, give us your favorite crash outs and introduce yourselves.
Buddy, you might have to define what a crash out is for those of
Oh,
us
you know
who
what a
are
crash out
native
is
English speakers.
when you're basically like you're literally there with your thumb hovering over the phone, angrily about to type. If I see one more info file project, I'm going to mute you all. That's what I'm sort of doing. And when you literally write a sort of a 280 character plus rant about something you've seen in space because you're just bitter that someone got something that you didn't, and you wouldn't normally be triggered by it, but it's just been one of those kind of weeks. That's a crash out.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
very hard to feel such emotions.
You're just too happy, man. Like
Yeah,
when we had
truly.
Chewy up here, Chewy literally barks at a lady like a dog, because he crashed out so hard.
Let me call on
I
Shaolin. I know he crashed out the other day because he's going
Yeah.
to parties during permissionless.
Oh,
This is
and that's for
true,
you.
by the way. Yeah, I think I had 2 hours of sleep before getting on our live stream for Korea, my Korean gaming studio, and then I got another 2 hours at total in between the train. Yeah, I will tell you though, the vibe is definitely just running into people you've seen across the space over like the 4 or 5 years that I've been in it, and then just reconnecting again. But in terms of crash out, man, I literally crashed out. I got a message from Nick saying, "Hey, if you want to join this meeting, blah blah blah," and I was like, "Yeah, I couldn't even wake up." So I literally crashed out. But to be fair, being a dad too, like I don't think I've ever slept in till 11 in the morning. I don't know, since like before, like during, except for probably the pandemic, just because there's nothing to do.
No, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. It's like when you're actually at a conference and then you can wake up and it's like 8 or 9, and you're like, this is unknown territory. I've slept. I feel rested. Like I'm somehow not as retarded as I normally am when I wake up that time in the morning. But yeah, it's all good, and we got a lot of stuff to crash out on because it seems to be permanently good news for crypto, but everything's just it's not fun. People are. I've seen people on timeline complaining there's no games. I've seen calls at the throats of projects. I've seen projects at the throats of calls, but it's not. No one's scared anymore. And I'm like, we could do some fun stuff, right?
I think I've decided, I think everyone's just crashing out of X in general.
We've
I
had
think-
enough, man.
especially Web3. It's just like it's got to a point where you can't really be bullish on anything you see because everything you see is paid promotion.
Yeah.
And so it's like, does anyone even do a deep dive on anything anymore? Or is it just like, if I think that they've got a big marketing budget, then they're probably going to succeed and therefore I should mint?
Yeah, and there hasn't actually been that much stuff happening. I saw that Treeverse announced their token. Is it Treeverse? Is Elder something?
I didn't see. I haven't used X in a couple of weeks. Basically, just popping in because I've been so productive just not looking at X. It's
yeah, but you're meant to retweet all the posts and talking about I'm going to crash out right now on you, Aero. You're like at least a tenth of our engagement, man. You've got to go. Like everyone, retweet, reshare the room, repost it. Hashtags have finally been banned. If you use them, you'll get destroyed.
In fairness to Aaron, Aero is the one that, when I have my crash outs and I post a tweet, Aero's the one that just silently messages me in the background and says, "Dude, take that tweet down."
Yeah, that is definitely the thing.
Just telling everyone that I'm a control freak.
It's always good when Paul has a mini crash out on X, and we're like,
we got a good support system though.
Spicy.
I think we've got a good support system here.
Yes, it's what we need.
There was a fantastic crash out that's not necessarily Web3, but it was a unique crash out this week compared to, like, I guess globally all of the ones that a lot of people are seeing. Maybe it's just me that my timeline is totally filled up with lots of negative and toxicity. Anyway, the number one crash out I've seen this week was Liver King. Holy shit.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, what
dude,
happened?
straight up like, well, so I guess he went after Joe Rogan, and he had been threatening him and talking a bunch of trash, and he straight up went to Austin and recorded himself running around on all fours like a gorilla, and then he
I saw
actually,
that.
yeah, and then he actually went after Joe Rogan, and it was the funniest thing. They
I was still
arrested
on all
him.
fours.
Yeah, and the guys, no, he wasn't on all fours. They had to lift him up, and they could barely like bend his back because he's like, you know, but he's like that tall. He is. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. So not related to Web3, but that was a pretty rough crash.
Yeah, and that is good crash out. That is definitely one of the better ones that we've had. I still think that Trump just swearing at two countries was fucking
Yeah,
hilarious.
I love that.
Like he was just
Yeah,
saying,
that was
"You
probably the best
fucking
one.
read." Oh, that was so good. That kind of made my day. It's like it's so funny when he just reacts like he actually wants to react, and you're
And then he
thinking like,
crashed back in, didn't he? He was like,
Mhm.
today he was like, Netanyahu's like the best person who's ever lived.
Yeah, someone sent him a timely reminder. I'm sure, like one of the Mossad agents that's actually like infiltrated into the highest levels of American government probably showed him a video that he had, and he's like, "Fuck, oh, I'm sorry, sorry, boss, boss Bibby. I got to get back on it."
Matt, it's good that you know how the American and U.S. government works. I mean, that's how you do it. You just place your account of bathrooms in the higher echelon of government, and then you just poke at them when you need to.
That is true, and that is true. Where is the Obama Sonic Inu guy, John, who actually knows all of this about the American government?
Well, we
When
want to have Trump on himself, right? Where's
Um,
Mr. Trump today? Where's President Trump?
Sadly, he had some family engagements that he had to do, dealing with some world peace issues, receiving various awards.
Getting some
standard.
flack for a video which he has banned.
No. I'd say he's in the White House wanking over photographs of the Nobel Peace Prize.
That is the top. We're going to have a crash out on this space. Creon, I see you in the space, soulbound. Give us your crash out takes. And share the room, guys. Retweet the room, or I will crash out hard.
yeah. It's kind of hard to beat after the Liver King one. I was literally like up like at 3 a.m. watching videos. I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here, dude? I think another one. I mean, the Trump one was pretty good. I think almost, starting World War III was definitely a crash out. And then just fucking space is always crashing. I think that's the biggest crash out I could give. But yeah, those are a few.
Have they been worse recently, Marcello?
Oh my God, what's going on, Arrow? What's going on?
I've just like I've rejected social media recently, so I haven't even been on Spaces or anything. Have they been worse?
I mean, they've been just as normal as they are. I don't know if they're worse or better, but it's just typically crashing like they always do. So, you know what it is. Someone's always rugged, but
yeah, and it's always that thing that whenever there's like a silence or a pause or someone struggling to unmute themselves, everyone's like, "Is it me? Is it me who's lost all of the speakers? Can no one hear me?" And then everyone shuts up, and you get this weird moment where you're like, "What's actually happening, guys?" And then the one person's like, the most nervous out of everyone's like, "Am I rugging or are they rugging?" And that's how it rolls. That's how it rolls.
We did. It's kind of old news now, but the Google and the internet crashed pretty hard. Just a couple of weeks ago. That's pretty historic.
Well, that was last week when we couldn't stream, right?
Yeah.
That was
it
exactly
last week or the week before?
It should be.
No, it's the week before. It was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah, 2 weeks ago.
But damn, everything. Google just went down on every level. And apparently it was just Google Cloud Services, which the majority of these companies, they use it in some way or another. Not saying that every single company uses Google Cloud. It might use AWS or other cloud services. But since it's part of the infrastructure, if that goes down, it's just cataclysm.
Well, even a lot of blockchain goes down as well, doesn't it? Even
yeah.
Google Cloud and
That's the
AWS.
saddest part. If AWS goes down, you find out exactly how decentralized a blockchain really is at that point. But yeah, it's funny because I think that we're in this sort of weird period where everyone was like, we're going to rip, we're going to have alt season. And now you look at Pump.Fun and it's just dead. Pump.Fun is dead. We're having real crypto news. Countries are adopting crypto. It's like the degens are gone. They're touching grass. Where have they gone? Where are all the degens? We've just seen people basically taking down all the fake catfishing accounts. Everyone's just having to go at each other a bit. I do think the most interesting crash outs I've seen have been Coles crashing out on projects, but basically not paying them extortionate amounts of money, and projects crashing out on Coles for the exact same reason. And so that's been quite spicy this week, I think.
Yeah, the whole
Hey,
of
Max.
X has crashed out. It's it for me. You can see it. Like the quality of content has definitely gone down.
I thought we were in the InfoFi revolution.
Well, actually, I wanted to mention that. I will tell you, right, working with in Web3 gaming, it's interesting to see, some people like, oh, we should jump on like Kato. And then like, this is what D Labs. And two crash outs kind of happen. One, they're like, no, because I mean, if we have to give 0.5% to these guys who don't do shit and won't play our games and won't actually contribute to our ecosystem. No, and they're like, but we need the exposure. And it's an interesting quandary to see when people actually have their bag on the line and it takes money away from them, how all of a sudden InfoFi becomes the worst thing ever. And then the other thing is
Yep.
we delayed PGE by a couple of weeks, literally a couple of weeks. And there was a crash out. Oh my God, you guys are a bunch of liars, you bunch of frauds for not meeting your deadline and the timeline you set, which mind you was Q2 2025, but we're literally 3 weeks into Q3. And yet everybody's like, you guys suck. And I've never had a deal as a community manager before for like, it's literally 3 weeks, even though they've been waiting for a year and a half. That these 3 weeks is the reason why they're going to leave and that they're going to just sell their bags and do all these things. I'm just like, oh my God, people in this space, if you're willing to wait a year and a half, you think you can't wait 3 weeks? And more importantly, like all the goodies that come with the activations leading up to, which means you can get more. I'm just like, man, the short-sightedness of DGen is phenomenal. And I can't understand it to my best of my ability, but we have to work through it anyway, right? As founders and builders. And so I'm just like, we got to take it in and just suck it up because it's just so
Exactly.
impossible to think how people's bags are more important than the thriving of the community and the efforts of the games and the things that we do to like give value every single day. And they don't understand how the costs of the game are far superior and far larger in this and the bigger scheme of things.
And that's the interesting thing is because if we actually make it, if Web3 gaming actually make it, there is going to be games earning hundreds of thousands a day. I mean, I think FIFA Rivals is already getting to that stage as well. And there's, I think Omnia from the Slappy Seals has actually got like 2 million people playing it or something. I saw that the other day. And I haven't seen a damn thing about that on X until Wob just posted it. And I'm like, it looks like actually we're all secretly realized that we need to go into Web 2. And the other thing I can crash out about before Grouchy gets to crash out on not being able to speak, I'm crashing out on the fact that every single one of these KOLs, they're like, yeah, I just went onto TikTok and suddenly I have 40 billion followers. I'm like, oh, fuck off. Like, come on, guys. I know you do good content, but it's like, yeah, I just tried TikTok for the first time and I'm the most popular person. Like, fuck off, really? You've been grinding for ages and you go on TikTok and you post a video and no one sees you. And you guys, you go on TikTok and you have no friends, you have like 3 people and suddenly you have 14 bajillion views. Yeah, Grouchy, crash out.
I was just about to say the same thing. You don't think that
Hell yeah.
crypto Twitter is dead? It's just like irrelevant at this point? Because you go on TikTok and you start a live stream and you present like a gameplay, if you actually have a game or something, or you do this kind of spaces, and all of a sudden there are like hundreds of people looking. If you have some followers and the reach of the audience is so way bigger. And I've seen people that used to do live spaces or video spaces on X, they start to shift to YouTube or to TikTok. This is the first time this year I think I've been on a space on Twitter. So I don't think
That is definitely interesting, and all of this crashing out is going to make ex co-host who's in the listeners really pissed because they are related to X and they're there. Unless they slightly change their name to TikTok co-host, which would be good. Please bring us over there to TikTok ex co-host. That's where we're going to crash out on next. But yeah. It's I don't know. I feel like this is the weirdest time because it feels like there are no projects. And every time there is a project, it just gets $1 billion, and then you never hear from them for the next 3 years. Like it seems like no one's heard of the projects. They raise extortionate amounts of money, even then, and no one's talking about them. It's
I
just
think
very strange thing.
I think we're just going to have to make that big splash then and reinvigorate
I think
everybody,
so.
kick their ass into gear.
There's just no belief
gonna
anymore. That's what annoys me. Like once upon a time, like you'd see so much authentic, genuine excitement on the timeline about all the innovation and the opportunity that was coming about. Obviously, a lot of it was delusional, but at least it was fun. Now everyone's kind of grown up and they're like, yeah, this is all bullshit, and I don't really want to go through the same cycle again. Like we need to. It is one of those things that we need to see. We need to see the kind of gems coming to the surface. So they're going to come from a lot of shit sinking, or it's going to come from gems like lifting them, everyone lifting up games to the surface. Because like when everything's manufactured and promoted, it's just boring. It's just nothing's real.
Was that intentional? Talking about the ship sinking because the visual. Okay.
No, it wasn't.
Good timing, though. Good timing.
Thank you for adding some comedy to my very boring, horrible take.
But
miserable. That's not crashing out. That's just misery, plain misery. No, I mean you're right though. There isn't that excitement, and that's why I think it's really interesting that on the sidelines there is a lot happening in gaming. Like there are projects that are finally coming to fruition. There are people who have many games have died and many games have come to us at Warp to be sort of resurrected. And I think, and don't get me wrong, I think this is going to be the most hated rally. I think this will definitely be the most hated rally when we actually bring out like real gaming for gamers that has a Web3 component. Everyone's going to hate us. And the Web2 guys are going to hate us. I saw Paul Payton from Wolves go on LinkedIn and he met like the scourge of LinkedIn. There's this guy called Catalin, and he's basically blocked by every single Web3 person on there. Because as soon as he finds anyone, like he doesn't even know them, talk about Web3, he must have like some fucking bot set up that he just appears and just fucking personally insults their shit. Like he just goes in there and he roasts them with his retarded takes. I think there is more passion in Web2 LinkedIn on hating on us than there in the Web3 space. But I think the thing is that I don't know any projects recently that have made people a lot of bags. And that's kind of thing. Apart from say maybe that kid on Maple Story who got like 70 grand or something for like 9 days playing.
Oh, interesting. But
Mhm.
that was it was like very gamified the way he did it. It was like 1 in a million chance that like one guy was able to do that. I don't think it was repeated by many other players in that community. But you know,
No, for real.
to a little bit piggyback on what Aero was saying, I remember the time when NFTs were almost dead and nobody was paying attention, and then Memeland launched the potatoes, and it was a free mint, and everybody went wild because in that moment where everybody felt like the old projects are rugging, there is nothing going on, they launched a project that is ideally free, and there is 10,000s of these things, and they distributed so broadly to everybody in the community that was like super active and supportive. And I feel like Warp is sort of going in that direction. Not saying that it's the same concept or there's NFT involved, but the idea of revamping an ecosystem that nobody believes in and giving it new life by bringing in something that has not been done before and bringing that Web 2 excitement back, you know?
Exactly, and I think the other thing is like GTA 6 has been delayed, and like we're waiting for something big to happen in regular gaming. I mean, the last sort of game that everyone's been talking about was Expedition 33, and I think that that's actually put a damper on the space that normally, like, where I think because of the COVID stuff, there was so much hangover of so many games coming out. And this was always the thing. It's like, what are you going to compare Off the Grid to? What are you going to compare Bloodloop to? What are you going to compare Shadowline to? All of these games coming out on basically COVID money that got pumped into it. And most of those games down bad as well. And it's like, is everyone just decided to touch grass this summer? Are we finally listening to those crazy influencers who are basically, you got to get a lot of sleep? I blame the guy who
I
sleeps
keep
for
telling
like
you,
12 hours a
get
day,
the
man.
fuck, get out and move. I was keep telling you for a year.
Move where?
Get out and move. Touch grass.
Dude, I've got like
No way.
16,000 steps a day, bro, on a monthly average. I am usually outside. Like if anyone knows me, I am never inside. This is the longest I am inside. And I'm also thinking like if I could actually do this on the two phones, I probably would do this outside. Like it's the only thing that keeps me sane is being outside and watching the general dismay of the Swedes who look at me and are like, what the fuck is this guy on?
You know,
That makes me happy, man.
the first time I ever had a meeting with you, you were outside walking around. Like there
Every
was like a
meeting.
parade in the background, and you were making fun of the people in the parade. It was the funniest thing ever. I'll never forget that. I think Grouchy Dan might have been around then.
Yeah, that is probably true. I was actually on a call with Justin Lucas from Onekin, and we saw the King of England because I was over for a speaking gig at the time, and I literally showed Justin the King. It was great. He rolled past in his little taxi-looking car, and he was like,
Wow.
"Man, I've seen the King." I was like, "Yes." It's good. It's good. But
What,
yeah,
King
permanently outside.
Charles?
Yes,
I
yeah,
shake,
King
I
George.
shake his hands. He came on site.
Okay, story time.
Yeah, I met him personally.
And did you introduce yourself as Grouchy?
No.
That would be, hello, I'm
Sir
Grouchy.
Grouchy.
He would be like, I'm Sir Grouchy. He'd be like,
Grouchy the third.
okay,
Grouchy the
Grouchy.
third.
No, that's good, man. That is good. But yeah, crazy
That's
times.
what he calls Camilla.
Yeah, Grouchy. Oh, you've met my wife then. I'm Grouchy. That's my wife's pet name. But yeah, or Harry. Harry is basically the royal family's crash out. Like that kid, he's like what 40 now. He acts like a teenager, and he crashes out like so often. No one reports on him anymore. Like
He's the bit. He's the bit boy of the royal family.
he is the bit boy of the royal family. I mean,
Well said.
fucking hilarious.
Isn't
I
he
mean,
getting divorced, by the way? Since we talked
is
about
he?
it. Yeah, I heard he's divorcing Meghan or
Probably.
something.
Really?
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Harry. You mean yeah? I hope.
Yeah.
Really? I don't believe that because if it was true, then I wouldn't hear the end of it from every person I speak to. Everyone in the UK is obsessed with this crap. It's like a drama. Literally, it's just like a sitcom or something. Everyone's so obsessed.
I mean, we need that. We need a royal family of crypto. I think that's the only thing that's going to save us. We've tried all of this digital communism bullshit where we take all the money from the rich people and give it to all the farmers in Indonesia, and it's just not working for us, is it? We've tried command economies where we set the prices on everything, and it still fucking doesn't work. And we tried like giving stuff away for free and telling you it's going to be worth a lot of stuff, and it still doesn't work. It's almost like all of these like anarcho crypto guys who are heavily right wing and capitalist doing communism is not a good thing. So yeah, let's make some fucking good shit happen. Anyway, we're halfway through the space. I'm gonna reset the room by saying, fucking reshare. The maths ain't nothing. Like, come on, lads. We've got like what 15 reposts. We've got 21 listening at least. 10 comments. And yeah, comment what you're crashing out on. Crash out in the spaces.
180 on our live stream.
Yeah, you guys in the live stream crash out hard.
Legends.
Legends. That is good today. It's nice. It's nice. And yeah,
It's totally irrelevant and it's a complete sidetrack from this. But next year, the World Cup and the Olympics been in America in the middle of summer. and it's like, and it's 40 friggin' degrees. What's that in freedom dunes
That's
or whatever?
105. That's 105 in freedom.
Yeah, you imagine those pasty flipping English footballers running around that heat. So it is.
What's the point the World Cup being over there when the Americans doesn't like football?
Shut up,
Well,
Kyle.
Exactly.
because they had the women's
That's a
team.
They
blasphemy.
don't even know what football is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they think that the women's team, they probably stand a good chance of winning.
It's something. It's a bit mad. I'm just going to be political, but if you look at the last number of World Cups, it's like you had 2018 was in Russia. That didn't turn out so. It was a great World Cup, but it didn't actually turn out great. What he did, and then it went to Doha. No, it went to Qatar. They're great in human rights. Now it's going to America. That's on an iffy place. And then I think the next one is in Saudi Arabia or something. So it's like, I don't know. It's going to be on Mars or
So
some
this
sort
is
of
why this is
Romulan.
why FIFA is getting a blockchain, because there's no more corrupt spaces to get into. Like, they've literally hit the most corrupt places. Like, even the Pope's American now. Like, everything's American. I just saw news that one of the biggest like automakers was repatriating all its factories to the US as well. And it's like, it seems to be that the crazier you are in this timeline, the better things work out for you. And that's just mental. That's just mental. And yeah, I would love to see another tier space of the craziest founders in Web3, all of the crash outs. And I'm just feeling like the timeline's pretty empty at the moment. I'm not hearing a lot of project news, basically, is what I'm saying. Because it's all Laudios and Kaitos and Zeeds is the new one that came out.
That's kind of what it comes down to, isn't it? It's like the strength of the meta.
Mhm.
And we've been through so many metas now, and everyone's kind of like, what's the next meta? And it's like, yay, InfoFi.
Yeah, it's the most. Okay, now I'm going to crash out on InfoFi. InfoFi, you are boring motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about. No one gives a shit. InfoFi is literally, let's take the most popular people in the space and give them more fucking free money so that another bunch of fucking people who are like almost as popular look at those guys and be like, if I repeat the same shit ad nauseum, I'll get $50. And then these guys will post as soon as it ends, dumping everything. Oh, thank you for my stimmy. I got $800 bajillion. And then you're looking at people like saying about Paul getting like $20,000 a week, $50,000 a week for a gambling thing. No one is hitting you, motherfuckers. Like, you are paying $150,000 for a fucking Kaito. That is basically the check size of most Web3 VCs we talk to. You could literally take that VC and walk them into the Kaito office and say, hand it to that fuck, because that's all you guys care about. Like, and it is boring as fuck, man. Like, post things about projects. Don't post, oh, it's really good that
Matt,
they do this and do that.
where's my money? Because I'm famous as well.
Yeah, just get free money. Like, you've got to be super famous to get free money.
Yeah, it's
And you've got to
the
be a dick as well.
it's the irony with all this money talk. I think I saw one today. Was it Jordan from Eureka? They have one now. It's like Reply Grow or something, and you get paid in J beans, right? And it's like, fuck's sake, we're into Jack and the Beanstalk now. It's like again, you get paid in magic beans.
Yeah,
Magic
No more,
beans.
when you
no more
say
magic
that,
money, magic beans. Huh?
Offset, when you said that, all I could think of when we were talking about InfoFi is like fee, fi, for, fam, like the giant and beanstalk,
Fee, fi, fo, fum, for your tweet, here I come. Creon, you got your hand up, man.
Hey everybody, it's nice to be here. I missed you guys.
Miss you too, bro.
Yeah, my phone kind of like crashed out earlier, so that's why I don't know. I got dropped twice. But yeah, I was really crashing out last week because I don't know. For every world leader's comment on the Israel-Iran conflict, there's like always a massive movement downwards in the market. And when Trump nuked, Iran, I think some of my positions, my perpetual positions were nuked as well. So those like crazy. So I was like really crashing out as well because of that. And funny though.
Did you smash a keyboard? Did you do the whole thing of smashing the keyboard? And then if you're a trader, you've probably got 12 monitors. And you're like,
No.
I'll throw all my monitors all over the place. My Fibonacci charts, fuck them all.
Yeah. Not really. I cannot do that. But
because your positions are gone.
Yeah, I'm too broke to kind of like buy new things because some of the positions were like Nick, right? And funny thing though is that while some leaders or most leaders would say something, they move the market, right? But when it comes to Zelensky, when whatever he says, nothing actually happens in the market. That's just what I noticed.
Poor guy.
I don't know.
Poor guy. I mean, it's because no one listens to him. It's because everyone's like, hey, this country has nukes. Let's blow them up with all the bombs. And he's like, Russia has nukes. Can you get like a no-fly zone? It's like, no, we're going to go and shoot down other people's drones over other countries while they just randomly attack a sovereign nation just because, I don't know, it was a slow news day and they decided this is the day that we need to fucking blow the shit out of Iran. And it's like, okay.
Iran was just the last one left.
Like,
it was the last. It was the last nation left that was part of that kind of resistance, right? It was like, well, we've done everyone else. Shall we just send a few Iran as well?
When you think of Zelensky, you think of Oliver Twist or some of those like old movies, and it's like, can I have some more, sir?
Could I please stop my people being butchered? No. We're too busy just randomly attacking these guys who are basically just. I don't know, man. It makes none of the sense. Considering Europe's like, let's take all of our carriers, all of our planes, and fly them away from the active war that no one gives a shit about to a war where one side has literally the most sophisticated missile defense on the planet, and we're going to help those guys, as opposed to the guys who've sent $50 billion worth of stuff that's got already blown up. Like, priorities, anyone? Like, fiscal responsibility? Anyone? Like, wouldn't you rather protect all of the shit that you've sent to the other country?
Before we pass it on to Soban, also of it is like we have to consider that like all these things that are going on and all this propaganda around what Israel and Palestine have been fighting for. If we focus on all the world that are currently happening around the world, I think that this war is ranked like number 7. There is some situation in Africa that nobody talks about where entire population are getting genocided. Not a word. All of a sudden Israel is involved and it's like this massive, leftist propaganda like blowing up,
Dude, we're gonna like literally there's gonna be like everyone's gonna go like Mossad. And then we're going to see all of the cameras go off at one time because, they own so much of the internet in terms of like the Israeli, I think it's the IDF has probably outside of China, the biggest like meme army for anyone. And they basically do that. If you say anything bad, like it's like you could say that in an empty forest and there'll be a Mossad agent pop out ready to stab you. It's fucking crazy.
Watch our comment section blow up now.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is how you're going to get engagement. It's going to be like Israel fi, info fi, fuck off
Israel
fi. Please defend us. We need to be defended against the thing we literally just attacked by ourselves. Anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, we are sorry to announce that no cap gaming has been cancelled.
Due to the death of everyone involved in a mysterious missile strike in 7 different countries simultaneously. Soulbound, please save us from ourselves.
Oh man, crazy times, guys. This one's a little different. I'm gonna crash out on. I don't know if you guys. So I was in New York for a few days. Apparently, the heat wave that we're going. Well, I mean, I left now. I'm back in Montreal, but the heat wave in New York is like the worst heat wave that they've had in like 13 years, and I was there for like a few days. It was crazy. It was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Actually, like 104 at its peak.
In the city as well.
It was.
That's nasty.
It was insane.
It stinks of shit that during the winter. Imagine what it's going to be like in the fucking summertime.
Dude, Paris, FCC, like FCC, I think it was like 22 or 23, and it's 22. And Paris, 105 degrees, it was 40 degrees. I actually had to take the subway And I don't know if anyone's ever had to take the subway in Paris. The entire sewer system apparently drains into the subway. Well, that's at least what it smells like. It was the most horrific experience. It was like being in a hairdryer where someone had shat in the hairdryer.
Well, I'm not
Because every time,
surprised because I mean they're not particularly clean. They don't even have bidets in their bathrooms.
French have bidets. That's why the word is French.
It's a French word.
It's a French
So,
word.
so the Israelis are going to take us out, and now the bloody French.
Yeah, we're
upsetting
crushing
everyone
out
today.
every nationality and country. Grim, I can make you crash out as an Italian by just showing you a Swedish pizza. Like,
Oh
not only
God.
do they put pineapple on it, Grim, they have kebab pizza with pineapple on it.
Oh, we got the kebab pizza here. You go to any of those like kebab shop and you will find kebab pizza. I'm not even surprised anymore about that. But I remember once in Africa, they used to make pizzas with banana on top of it.
They do that in Sweden too. It's
Oh my
called
God.
Bananas. They actually have a restaurant called Bananas, and they have a Nutella and banana pizza as
Well,
the dessert.
if it's served as a dessert, but that was not a dessert. It had like tomato and cheese and banana pieces on top of it.
Well, that makes me retch just thinking about it.
Exactly.
That's basically like an English street after about 10 p.m. Because I can also crash out in the UK. Why is it with everything fucking closing so early? Why does everything close so goddamn early in the UK? You go out there and you're like London. It's a city that never sleeps. Fuck off. Like it's dead. Like there's nothing open past midnight.
Matt, but do you know what that is? That's the fucking Protestants, man. It is. That's a remnant from Protestantism. The Catholics, we love having a good time, bit of a party. Okay, our priests are a bit dodgy, but we love having a good time. We like to drink, we like to do whatever. But Protestants, they're like, oh no, you can't gamble. You can't gamble. You can't do this on a Sunday. The shops have to close. It's like whatever.
And that's why they turn into serial killers. That's why they turn into the proper psychotic serial killers that cruise around places and execute people. Whereas in Catholic countries, you just line them up and chop them up as part of gangs, and then you sing songs about it. So I'm crashing out South America as well. That's great. Let's make everyone hate us today, or not.
I miss
But
Monty
it's-
Python,
Me too,
satire.
man. Yeah, man. Like things need to be funnier. Crypto needs to be more enjoyable. We have fantastic tech. We've got buy-in from all over the world. We can do things that we couldn't do like even a year ago, like actually say stuff like games should be fun without people laughing at us, and say things like revenue should exist without people laughing at us as well. And we're getting there. We're actually fucking getting there. A worldwide adoption, we're getting there. At some point, it's going to be like the people who crashed out whenever you wore earpods the first time. Do you remember when earpods came out the first time and everyone still had the strings? And people who were talking on earpods, everyone's like, douchebag. And it was the same vibe as the people with the Google glasses. It was like anyone talking on the phone, you're like, Tim, talking in the air, not to a phone, like a normal human.
You have to remember that when you mentioned
I
that,
experienced that.
I work for Apple and I saw that all that happened. I was getting like messages from my friend. It's like, why would anybody put like the head of a toothbrush inside their ear?
The experience with the Ray-Ban glasses I experienced this weekend.
Oh, did you have the Snapchat ones?
Yeah, from Ray-Ban with Meta. Yeah, I have those. And I was somebody called me and I was talking to the glasses and everybody walking around me was looking at me like I'm a freak.
Yeah, but if you'd have had the little white dots in your ear, then apparently now you're no longer a freak. I think this is actually one of the most hilarious things about human culture is like anything new, we have a visceral gut reaction that person should get hit by a car. Like it's literally like you see someone doing that, like with the glasses, or like the first time that people aren't having strings on their earbuds, and you're like, yeah, wouldn't it be funny if like we literally would be happy to see someone get squished. And I think that is the sort of the nature of the crypto space as well, is that we're all secretly rooting for each other's downfalls while we're cheering on the same bags that we got.
There is one tech where you still have the same reflex, and that's the Bluetooth headset, I think.
Oh yeah, the Bluetooth headset. Like anyone with a Bluetooth headset, like they're gonna get smacked. That is, and
At least they
segways,
deserve it, right?
segways, man. Anyone on a Segway, whether it's a security guy or a cop, you're just like, seriously, man,
Douche.
douche.
I feel like
How
I don't
about
see anybody that's
Segway?
not security on a Segway. Like that's the only people I see on Segways anymore is like security or police officer. But it's never the real ones, right? It's
Yep.
always the ones that like have to arm themselves with pepper spray or I don't know.
They're only allowed to act in self-defense, and they can't make any arrests.
Yeah, and they always have
That's
that mean ass look on their face too, like that, like they're
I mean, dude, if you had to drive a Segway, you're gonna have to look. You're gonna have to mad dog everyone if you go back. Because they're gonna point and laugh. You kids. You know what I mean? It's like imagine that you just and you're going past a bench in London with 12 school kids on it. Your life is basically over. You're gonna have to like murder each and every one of them to get any semblance of respect. Like, oh,
Segway wankers, Segway wankers.
seriously.
mildly morbid.
Only one thing that can be worse is somebody on a Segway wearing a Vision Pro.
Oh no, I got one. Segway, Vision Pro, and you know those individual toe shoes.
Oh my
It's really
god!
creepy. I've only seen
That
personal
takes it to
trainers
another
wear that
level.
shit. Individual toe shoes.
That's even worse than
Yikes.
Crocs.
Yeah, no, that is worse. Crocs were cool. Gen Z loved Crocs, vapes, and broccoli haircuts, apparently. But Gen Z's nearly also pushing their 30s now, so they're not kids anymore. It's Gen Alpha. And they're apparently just running AI crypto farms and just laughing at us while wearing batiks. And they're, Gen Alpha is the kids of millennials, and they're living the life of Wolf of Wall Street, and no one knows because they basically came in and hacked all the Gen Zs. Like so, the Gen Zs got into crypto, and the Gen Alphas came in afterwards and just scammed and hacked them all. It's not like your classic, like you're coming from a tier 3 country and you're just going to send people messages. No, these are like proper little douchebag American kids from rich families doing like fucking axe farms and all of this. They're probably the ones that made the most money at Pump Fun. And they probably literally, I've seen some of them, they come into spaces. I think we've actually had one on the Space Grim, and they come up and they are just laughing at everyone. They're probably on some sort of live stream somewhere, and one of them will just be like hideously inappropriate to some lass or something, and you're like, I know this shit. There was one of them who was on one of our spaces, or the spaces we were on. He was trying to sing or something, and then we were humoring, and I was like, no, it's one of these guys. So these hacker kids, and that's what's happening. Is Gen Alpha is eating our fucking lunch, man.
Well,
I'm
you
a
could say
millennial.
that Gen Z is the
Deals.
failed generation, so they had to come back somehow.
Well, Gen Z is the generation that basically invented the word cringe because instead of trying to be cool, they just tried to be not the victim of other people being mean to them. So that's a very different
It's the
thing from
brain rot
millennials.
generation. It's the one that they're
Yep.
like constantly looking at the phone and they're stuck in their own little bubble and they can't socialize with anybody.
Yeah, that's true. And then COVID, just as they came of age, so they literally had no chance of human interaction. There's probably a generation there that now can watch like 5 things happening at once. You know, I think Gen Z is going to end up as security guards watching like 12 cameras because of, you know, TikTok with the split screens. I've seen TikTok 2 screen splits. They've now got like 4 screen splits, or they've got a 2 screen split on TikTok, and they're literally playing a game and streaming something. They can probably, their eyes can detect all the movement on the entire stream panel. And that's why Gen Z will be the security guards of the rich fucking Gen Xers who will own all of the wealth. And that's what you'll do. You'll be in the bunker of Elon Musk protecting his 1,100 children by watching constantly these security monitors
That's
and,
it.
and hoping your little bleep, bleep, bleep doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
and the best job they can get is working for the GRU out of St. Petersburg. You know.
Yeah, that's exactly that. I mean, man, like it feels like so much good news, but we're so cooked. Like I think the problem is if we give all of the money away to the people who already have all of the money, you're not actually getting new people into the space. And I think that there is obviously it's no longer X is no longer a playground. It's more of like a PvP death fest, where if you're not sort of like defending a bag or defending a position or like making cool content that's like meaningful, nothing happens. Like it's almost impossible to grow now on X.
Shit,
It's almost impossible.
completely. Sorry. Something you mentioned something there, and something completely random has just come into my head. Right? Do you know what? Do you remember when the Israelis there about 6 months ago or 9 months ago blew up all the pages of Hezbollah and stuff?
Yeah.
Right. I'm wondering, did they get that idea from Kingsman? You remember the Kingsman movie
Well,
when they went everybody
it was a
go
phenomenal
crazy with it?
movie.
Yeah, I swear to God, they must have done that. Like anytime, like I actually remember on some space or something, I don't know, I was saying like, why don't they just put drones in trucks and then drive them near places? And drones in trucks is a thing now. Like the wackiest things that you can think of are probably going to play out in this timeline. So if you can just invent something and say it loud enough on the internet, it will come horribly to pass. And it's been really interesting. I've been looking at TikTok because obviously, like everyone's going to TikTok now. The amount of flat Earth influencers on TikTok is fucking hilarious. I just, it's amazing. Like, and I'm thinking these people genuinely believe in a flat Earth. What can we sell them? How do we get into their brains and tell them that everything is wrong unless you have this one particular thing? Like they literally believe this shit and they talk down to other people who are trying to tell them things like they're
How,
objectively.
how about we sell them parachutes for when they fall off the end?
Oh no, they can't go off because there's like a massive glass dome that's not made of glass, but they can't define what it's made of.
What are you
You
are
can
you
never
saying
reach
that
it.
that's not true?
I think maybe we should sell yo-yos.
Yeah, that would be good.
If there's that many influencers saying it, must be true. I think.
Yeah,
That's
no, it's
Yeah,
definitely true. We should have FlatFi. Let's do FlatFi, InfoFi,
Flatfy,
Flat
yeah.
Earth, and yeah,
Flatify.
just Flatify. Flatify,
Flattable.
that's the new thing. No, it's absolutely insane. Like that, literally, for that to be true, every single airline company would have to know about it and then decide to keep it a secret. Every single government would have to know about it and keep it a secret. Every single person in the military who flies planes, shoots rockets, or does any of that would have to know about it and keep it a secret. With like, you're talking about like 10% of the planet would have to actively know that it was a real thing and decide to not tell anyone. And as you know, as soon as you tell like 3 people anything, everyone knows about it. You know what I mean?
Whoa, hang on,
It's,
hang on, hang on. Now, you could make the argument that this has been happening since the beginning of humanity with religion, not one particular religion, with any religion. You could make the same argument there.
Name the religion, though. You have to name the religion.
All of them.
No.
All of them.
Yeah,
Not me. I'll leave that to
And the
Dan.
That's
He
it.
can name the
That's
religion.
the prophecy.
just
UK was all about religion back in the days.
yeah, no, we were all
Yeah.
about religion.
That's it. I think we're covering everything now. Just just to put the final nail in the coffin of cancellation, we just say fucking all religions. That's it. That's it. We've covered everybody now.
I think
That's
it's
it. We're
about time
gone.
we play that video, I guess.
And every
Yeah, let's
nation
play
we
the
haven't
video.
mentioned.
Yeah, Jay, you got your hand up. Just crash out with us. You don't have to put your hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm not sure why I had that up. I was gonna say, like, yeah, I'm just a bit. I think the space is kind of waiting for interest rates to finally go down in the United States because that's a driver of like global liquidity and capital and so I think that once they get that sorted out and the world sees the kind of like a trend, like a downwards trend in interest rates, and there actually being some progress on that I think that's when you're going to start seeing like a whole bunch of more activity and less people paralyzed because like you were saying, I think so many people are just like paralyzed right now. They don't know what to think. They don't know what to do. People are throwing all sorts of, business models out there and just to kind of get things going but it's not really sticking as much. So, yeah, I think that's
it's
help.
because all the money's
Jay.
being given to bad
But
stuff,
to be
right?
to be fair, the markets are holding up really well.
Yeah.
I think the markets are holding up fine. I like to imagine that all of the institutional degens that are coming into the space, because there is new money coming into it. I like to think that they've got a Telegram group somewhere and they're just degening like we used to on X, and just getting hyped
Jay,
about coins.
I don't know what to
That'd
say,
be
but
amazing.
probably that theory applied like last season before Trump got in. Since Trump is in, everything is a chaos. No rules apply
True.
anymore.
True.
If,
Yeah, no, we
if
wanted crime season.
Crime
We've
is
actually
legal.
got the
Apparently, crime
purge.
is legal.
We just got the purge. This is basically just crypto, the purge edition, where no one knows what's true. Everyone's paid far too much, apart from everyone else who isn't paid anything. And it's like brokies versus wokies versus richies, and yeah, it's insanity. It's literal insanity.
with
I
with
think.
Trump with Trump
Mm.
in that chair, feels like a Black Mirror every day. He wakes up.
Mm.
We got to roll the clip then. Let's roll the clip for the audience.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs like I've never seen before. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when they say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. The biggest load that we've seen. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, it didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You understand that? Raise your voice!